Are you looking for a wooden, foam or steel grip, mini, low or medium parallettes? Barmania has them. So Barmania is a Dutch company and they are very well known for their calisthenics parks, and we already checked out their freestanding pull-up bar, and today we are checking out their full line of parallettes. Let's get into it. So these three are called the Neo Parallettes, and you get these with a foam grip, but you can also choose to add a wooden grip, which we usually like a lot, but these are more expensive. And then there's these huge parallettes, which are the steel parallettes. So looking at them, I really like the look of these parallettes. I always like the combination of wooden grips with a black powder coated steel, but also the black powder coated steel with the foam looks cool, and these steel parallettes also look very nice. They all have the same anti-slip feet, which have the Barmania Pro logo on them, and they look quite robust. With the Neos, actually, if you get the wooden grip, you get a sticker which has the icon of Barmania. And when it comes to these two medium parallettes, they have a big sticker over here. Sometimes they seem like they are peeling off, so they might just come off at some point. But yeah, they look for the rest quite cool. And when it comes to the wooden grip, you can also see that these have a lasered in logo. So there's no doubt which company made these parallettes, and also on the side here it says again Barmania Pro. So when it comes to the wooden grip, this one has 38 millimeters in diameter, and I assume that this one is the same. Yeah, basically. And then the foam one is actually 37 millimeters, but because this is foam, you can actually squeeze it and it will be a little bit less than that. And also this one is 38, so basically they all have a similar diameter. And when it comes to the usable part, this one is 16.5 centimeters long. The low parallettes are 40 centimeters long. The foam part is 35. And of course, with the steel parallettes, they have a rounded edge. So let's see, the straight part is about 47 centimeters long. And these, of course, are very low to the ground. But when it comes to the medium parallettes, these are 35 centimeters high, and this one is about 41 centimeters high. So first, let's try out the Neo V1 with the wooden grip. Nice, they feel quite stable. All right, so the sideways movement, if I try to move it, it doesn't really tilt, but these are quite high for mini parallettes, so this I do feel that it tilts, but during the handstand it was quite fine. Yeah, feels nice. The anti-slip feet also feel quite nice, so let's test it out with a wide handstand and then also find out whether they will start tilting. All right, so when you do a wide handstand, they definitely start sliding. I mean, okay. Actually, this direction, probably because of this, they are more difficult to slide, but when it comes to the side, we wouldn't really do a wide handstand on these. So I do really like the grip of the wood. I didn't feel that I was slipping or anything like that, but the wood does feel very smooth, so maybe at some point you do want to start using some chalk or maybe grip tape. So for mini parallettes, these are actually quite high, but they are definitely stable parallettes. And when it comes to the anti-slip feet, we have seen better, but they definitely do their job. The only thing is that we wouldn't really recommend you to do any wide exercise on it. And the grip, it is smooth, but nice. Next up, the Neo V2. Obviously, these feel much more stable because they are wider, they are less high, and also much longer than the mini parallettes. And again, it's the same wood, so the grip is smooth, but nice. Even if you try, these you can't really move when you're in an L-sit. So this time I didn't really feel the anti-slip feet slip during the wide handstand. I mean, they kind of slide, but of course this kind of force never would happen in an exercise. And this direction, they're definitely very good. Again, the grip is nice, and these parallettes are actually super stable. And when it comes to anti-slip feet, they do their job. So these low parallettes are definitely very nice. So next up is the Neo V3, and of course these are medium parallettes, and we put the foam grip on this one. And of course with the other two there would also have been the foam on there, but we are usually a bigger fan of wooden grips. Of course, we can also imagine that definitely as a beginner, it is nice to have the foam. So the first thing I notice, of course, is that the grip is softer than the wooden grip. And because of that, I kind of feel less secure, let's say, when I'm doing an exercise, because you just have to squeeze harder. And when you are moving, you just kind of feel that there's some leeway there. So I prefer a more sturdy grip to these, but they definitely do still feel comfortable and it does feel nice on the hands, but I just don't like it as much. So of course, when you have medium parallettes, you can always go deeper on exercise, for instance, with a push-up, but also with a handstand push-up. And besides that, with medium parallettes, you also get to do some other beginner exercises, like for instance, your chair dips, and also incline push-ups, which is definitely very nice. Plus, I have more space for this. All right. So far, these are actually very stable. And when I test this out, because these are higher, it's of course easier to do this, but in the exercise, I didn't really notice that. And also to the side, they are quite stable. I can imagine though that they do start tilting when you're doing a wide handstand, but of course medium parallettes aren't really meant for that, but let's try it out anyway. So they do tilt slightly and it's just scary, so I wouldn't really recommend it anyway. All right, so of course now I'm trying to slide these parallettes, and this kind of pressure you would never get during exercises. And actually all the exercises that we would recommend you to do on these are going to be closer together. So for these parallettes, I think these are actually great anti-slip feet. So as said, we are not the biggest fan of foam grips, but we could understand that you might like it, and definitely if you're a beginner. And if we had to choose one parallette out of this line to put the foam on, then it would definitely be this one. Because when it comes to medium parallettes, you also get to do basic exercises like your chair dips and like your incline push-ups. And also if you want to learn an L-sit to a handstand, then you just have more space for your legs with these. So that makes these parallettes with the foam grip a great combination. And in general, also with the wooden grip, these are great parallettes. So next up are the Steele parallettes, and these of course have the same advantages as the other medium parallettes, but now it has a hard grip made of black powder coated steel. So let's try it out. So these are definitely much bigger. I'm not sure exactly what that will do to the stability, but it definitely makes them more difficult to store. So the grip so far, it feels very nice on the hands. I really like it. The black powder coated steel always has a nice grip, but of course compared to wood, it doesn't take up your sweat when you're doing your exercises. You might want to use some chalk, or you could put some grip tape. So just like the other medium parallettes, they also give you the option to do some incline push-ups, and with this one you basically just need one because they're so long. And again, you can do your chair dips. And again, with high parallettes, this becomes easier. And of course, with these parallettes, you can go deeper on exercises like your push-ups, but also your handstand push-ups. So far with all of the exercises, I didn't feel a tilt at all, so they are definitely very stable parallettes. Even like this, if you try, it's very difficult to move. All right, so when you do wide handstand, you definitely start tilting more quickly, so I wouldn't do those. But again, the anti-slip feet definitely do their job, and as said, if you don't do any wide stuff, the anti-slip feet definitely are good enough for these parallettes. So yeah, basically these are very similar to the other medium parallettes, but of course these are made of steel, which actually gives a very nice grip on the hands, and also they are much bigger. But other than that, they are really stable parallettes, and also the anti-slip feet are great. So before we conclude, we found out that 94% of our viewers don't actually subscribe. So subscribe so that we can make more and better reviews for you with more and more partners. So when it comes to the pricing, if you go just for the foam grip, the minis will be 45 euros, the low parallettes 75, the medium parallettes will be 80 euros, and the steel parallettes are going to be 100 euros. But if you want to add the wooden grip for these three, then for the mini parallettes it will be 15 euros extra, and for these two it will be 20 euros extra. So basically Barmania has three kinds of parallettes. So they have the mini parallettes, the low parallettes, and they have two medium parallettes, and all of these are actually great parallettes. So if you're looking for compact parallettes out of these, of course we will go for the mini parallettes, but for mini parallettes they are still quite big though. And if you want to go for the more advanced exercises and you need the most stability and grip, then we would go for the low parallettes with the wooden handles. Then if you want to go deeper on exercises or have more space for your legs when you do an L-sit to a handstand, or you want to do some extra basic exercises like your chair dips, then we would go for these parallettes with the wooden grip. But if you want a steel grip, then we would go for the steel parallettes, of course. But if you are a beginner and you want a softer grip, then this one with the soft foam is actually a very good combination. So you can actually get 10% off by using our discount code CWW10. So click the links in the description or here, and then we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.